Who cares about all that pomp and pageantry when there's all the Trooping the Color 2025 behind-the-scenes drama to digest?
Prince William and Kate Middleton's titles have officially changed.
As Kate Middleton prepares for her future role as Queen Consort, she's doing so with the best model available.
Trooping the Color 2025 just concluded. However, the most spectacular part of the day wasn't the horses or King Charles' luxury carriage. It was Princess Catherine's latest appointment. In a move that shocked the whole royal family, Anne announced that Catherine was now the Marshal of the monarch's honor. But what exactly is Catherine's new role? And why did Anne choose the Trooping Day to make the announcement? Join us as we break down the intrigues of the latest royal appointment. Princess Anne's pleasant surprise for Catherine. It was one of those perfect British mornings where the sun showed up just enough to make the red uniforms pop and the gold embroidery gleam. Trooping the Color 2025 had arrived, and once again, London's Horse Guards parade turned into a living canvas of tradition.
Arriving on Horse Guards parade in the heat, the king from his carriage inspected the guard.
With more than 1,400 soldiers lined in formation, 200 horses stepping in time, and 400 musicians playing with heart, it felt like a painting had come alive. The uniforms were sharp, the precision was remarkable, and every movement was executed with precision. But this year, even among all the spectacle and ceremony, something special was in the air. As the parade began, the Coldstream Guards proudly marked their 375th anniversary.
The Army's oldest continuously serving regiment is celebrating its 375th anniversary.
Their presence added a heavy sense of legacy to the day. When they trooped the King's Color, presented personally to King Charles III, the moment wasn't just symbolic, it was historic. However, nobody knew that something else was brewing behind the scenes, something that would leave you completely speechless. Keep watching to find out. Though he once rode tall on horseback for this very event, King Charles made his appearance this year in a carriage beside Queen Camilla. His choice wasn't just personal. It was a practical decision guided by his ongoing cancer treatment.
The king riding in a carriage with Queen Camilla instead of on horseback amid his ongoing cancer battle.
The shift from saddle to seat reflected a reality that many could relate to, that even kings must pause for their health. However, it also marked a subtle shift in tradition, hinting that the roles and faces representing the crown might soon look a little different. Among those still in the saddle was Princess Anne, commanding attention as only she can. She rode front and center on Noble, the same strong-willed mare who once gave even King Charles a hard time. Anne didn't flinch. Her posture, grip, and calm expression showed a rider completely in control, earning nods of respect from watchers both near and far. Her steady hand over the restless horse showed why she's long been the monarchy's quiet backbone. Beside her rode Prince William and Prince Edward, both fully dressed in their military uniforms that sparkled with honor and history. William, as Colonel of the Welsh Guards, looked sharp atop Derby, the horse once gifted to Queen Elizabeth II. Edward, representing the Scots Guards, added balance to the formation. Together with Anne, the trio reminded everyone of the royal family's deep-rooted ties to Britain's armed forces and their active roles, not just as spectators. Then came Catherine. She stepped down from her carriage with all three children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, close by.
The monarch joined by Prince William, Princess Kate, and their three children.
Dressed in a cream Amelia Wickstead coat dress, she brought elegance and calm to the moment. The brooch of the Irish Guards glistened on her chest, a quiet signal of the duty she carried as their colonel. Her children wore nautical tones that echoed her style, conveying a subtle yet strong message of unity and elegance. The crowd responded warmly, sensing that Catherine's presence meant more this year than ever before. Just as the music swelled and the marchers fell into line, the atmosphere changed. News of a recent Air India crash that had taken the lives of 241 people.
An Air India plane bound for London with more than 240 people on board has crashed in India's western city of Ahmedabad.
Including over 50 Britons, had spread across the parade ground. In a moment of respect, the procession came to a pause. The royal family wore black armbands. The crowd stood still. The only sound was the wind fluttering through flags and the quiet stomp of hooves. However, something unexpected happened that caught everyone off guard. Stay glued, because this will amaze you. Without warning, Princess Anne rose slightly in her stirrups. With calm confidence, she spoke to the assembled regiments and everyone watching across the country. Her words were measured, her tone firm. The announcement was simple, but its weight shook the ground beneath every boot. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was appointed to a brand new role, Marshal of the Queen's household. The reaction was instant. Gasps swept across the crowd, quickly followed by cheers that filled the June sky. From the royal balcony, young George, Charlotte, and Louis beamed with pride. Standing beside King Charles, Kate looked surprised but composed. Her children watched her closely. Louis grinned with the wide-eyed joy only a 7-year-old could have.
Prince Louis is stealing the show at Trooping the Color once again. Youngest child seen sporting the biggest smile and excitedly waving to the crowd for the entire celebration.
And while the military precision resumed, something had changed. This wasn't just a promotion or a ceremonial add-on. It was a genuine recognition. The energy on the parade ground felt different now. The formality gave way to something more emotional, more personal. The moment showed that tradition could evolve without losing its roots. In the space of a few minutes, what began as another well-executed Trooping the Color turned into a defining day in the monarchy's story. As the music played again and the march continued, everyone could sense it. This parade had crowned more than just military achievement. It had introduced a new role, and with it, a new direction. What came next promised more than pageantry. If you think this was just another appointment, then prepare for the biggest shock of your life. Princess Anne's power play. Remember that Princess Anne chose the moment of national silence to make her announcement. It wasn't by accident. The tribute to the Air India crash victims had settled the entire Horse Guards parade into a state of stillness. Heads were bowed, the crowd was silent, and even the horses stood in quiet respect.
King Charles is now requesting black armbands to be worn at the Trooping of the Colour.
Into that silence, Anne introduced a voice of change. Her decision to speak then, when everyone was paying attention and emotions were already heightened, showed that she understood timing as well as she understands duty. It was a bold and calculated move, one that made sure her words would not just be heard, but remembered. Catherine stood beside King Charles when the title was announced, and in that moment, the world saw something shift. There was surprise in her eyes, but she held her posture with the grace that has become her signature. She did not step back. She didn't falter. Her calm reaction in front of cameras, soldiers, and millions watching live confirmed what many have come to believe over the years. Catherine was no longer the young royal learning the ropes. She had become someone the public could look to with respect. Her quiet strength filled the space between the parade's tradition and the future it now hinted at. What made the announcement more striking was that the title itself was new. The title of Marshal of the Monarch's honor wasn't pulled from an old royal scroll or some archived list of historic positions. It was created specifically for this moment. The title combines the past with the present. It keeps the spirit of royal ceremonial duties alive while giving them a fresh face. It does not erase tradition. It adds to it, using Catherine as the link between what has always been and what could now begin. With this role, Catherine will represent the crown in salutes to regiments during significant ceremonial occasions. It is not just another box to tick on her list of duties. It gives her visible authority. When soldiers stand and salute, she will be the one they salute back to. When the public watches the next parade or national event, Catherine will not just be attending, she will be leading. This rise in rank was not handed out lightly. It was a deliberate step towards something new. And when we explain, you will understand better. Stay tuned, because we're about to reveal the motive behind Anne's action, and you'll love it. Royal watchers believe this idea came from Princess Anne herself. For years, Anne has been the monarchy's most dependable figure, always working, always present, never seeking the spotlight.
The Princess Royal, Princess Anne, is so refreshing. She is straight talking, she is no nonsense. She is the hardest working royal last year and for many, many years.
But this time, she used that spotlight to make sure Catherine was seen. If it truly was Anne's decision, then it speaks volumes about how much trust she places in Catherine. It wasn't just a professional gesture. It felt like something personal, almost like passing a torch without saying a word. Anne has watched Catherine grow into her role not just as a royal, but as a mother, a wife, and someone who remains steady even under pressure. Anne has always valued service over attention. In Catherine, she likely sees someone who shares that view, someone who can show strength without noise, who can represent the monarchy without trying to dominate it. Their bond is not loud or performative, but it is strong. Still, not everyone inside the palace was pleased. For instance, palace sources reveal that Queen Camilla was not carried along. Sources also revealed that he wasn't consulted, and that detail has sparked quiet tension behind palace walls. In public, Camilla remained composed, but her placement during the parade told another story. While Catherine stood on the dais with King Charles, Camilla sat in a second carriage further behind. The contrast was hard to ignore, and it didn't go unnoticed. This difference in positioning may have been subtle, but in the world of royal protocol, nothing is ever tiny. It suggested that Camilla, once the rising figure beside Charles, was no longer the central force in shaping the monarchy's next steps. That position was shifting, with Anne steering the direction and Catherine stepping forward to take the lead. Some insiders believe this was part of Anne's larger plan. By choosing Catherine, Anne was sending a message about where the monarchy is heading. The spotlight, once shared among many, is now narrowing toward the Wales family, with King Charles facing health challenges and the royal calendar becoming increasingly focused.
King Charles spent a short period of time in hospital today after experiencing the temporary side effects of his cancer treatment.
As a result, the focus is shifting to those who can carry the weight long-term. William and Catherine, together with their children, are being positioned as the core. Anne's decision reflects more than just strategy. It demonstrates her understanding that the monarchy must keep pace with the world around it. Leaner, more straightforward, and more relatable, this version of royalty isn't trying to impress with grandeur. It is trying to connect with people in a way that feels real. And Catherine, with her background, her experience, and her resilience, fits that model perfectly. As the echoes of Anne's announcement faded into the rest of the parade, something had changed not just in who held the title, but in how the crown was choosing to shape its future. This was no longer about ceremony alone. It was about placing the right people in the right roles to keep the monarchy alive in the years to come. However, that leads us to the following question. How did Catherine react to her new role? This is very interesting. Stick around as we break it down. Princess Kate's rise in the royal family. Catherine's moment came quietly, but powerfully, right when the Coldstream Guards lowered their color in salute. As they passed, she stepped forward and returned the gesture with calm precision. That single movement, steady arm, raised, shoulders firm, eyes forward, was more than just a ceremonial salute. It was a public confirmation that she had stepped into something bigger. For those watching, it no longer felt like Catherine was growing into her role. It felt like she had arrived. There was no hesitation in her stance, no trace of nerves. It was leadership in its simplest form, carried out with confidence and grace. Her cream Amelia Wickstead coat dress flowed with every step she took, and it instantly became a visual symbol of this new chapter. There was something about the way it moved in the wind and caught the sunlight that made it unforgettable. The color, clean and soft, made her stand out without being loud. It matched the mood of the moment, respectful yet forward-looking. Paired with that sharp salute, the entire look became something people will remember. It was the image of a woman stepping into the heart of the monarchy with quiet strength. While the crowds focused on Catherine, William was watching too. From atop Derby, he glanced her way with the kind of look that didn't need words. There was pride in his eyes, not just in her, but in what they had built together. For years, they have stood side by side in royal duties, but this felt different. This time, Catherine was taking a step on her own, and William let the moment be hers. Their partnership was still visible, but it now had a new rhythm, one where Catherine wasn't just supporting the crown. She was helping carry it. Later, on the Buckingham Palace balcony, that same shift continued. Catherine stood front and center, with her 3 children flanking her. George stood tall. Charlotte matched her mother's style.
Kate Middleton and Princess Charlotte are color coordinating for this year's Trooping the Colour celebrations. The Princess of Wales and her 10-year-old daughter matched in aquamarine outfits for the ceremonial event.
And Louis beamed with a carefree wave. It wasn't just cute or photogenic. It told a story. The future of the monarchy was right there, not behind the scenes, but in full view. Catherine, positioned in the middle, brought everything together. She was no longer just a royal figure beside a future king. She was a leader, guiding the next generation forward. That is not all. Charlotte's outfit mirrored her mother's soft tones, creating a quiet sense of connection between them. It wasn't just about matching clothes. It was a sign of shared purpose. Charlotte looked calm, proud, and confident, displaying the same composure her mother had shown earlier in the parade. Louis, meanwhile, brought his usual charm. His gap-toothed grin and enthusiastic wave brought a lightness to the moment. He wasn't just performing for cameras. He looked happy to be there, as if he already understood how important the day was. For many, the fact that Catherine was even present carried emotional weight. Just 5 months earlier, she had announced she was in cancer remission. Returning to public life after such a personal struggle would be meaningful on any stage. But to do it at Trooping the Colour, with the eyes of the world watching, gave the moment extra depth. She didn't just come back, she came back stronger. And she didn't overshadow the event. She added heart to it. Her strength wasn't loud or showy. It was steady and deeply human. On her ears hung Queen Elizabeth's pearl drop earrings. That detail mattered more than it seemed. In wearing them, Catherine linked herself with the woman who defined the role for so many decades. But instead of copying her, she made the look her own. The earrings shimmered just enough to catch the light, not enough to pull focus. That's what made them perfect. They quietly tied the past to the present, showing that Catherine isn't trying to replace anyone. She's walking her path while carrying the spirit of those who came before. Throughout the event, Catherine's small gestures said more than any speech could. She placed a gentle hand on Charlotte's shoulder. She smiled at William when their eyes met. These were not just practiced royal moments. They were genuine, minor signs of someone grounded in family and present in the moment. She didn't seem like she was performing a role. She seemed to belong there, and that made everything around her feel more natural and relatable. Even her children seemed to rise to the occasion. George looked calm and aware, his posture steady. Charlotte reflected her mother's quiet grace. Louis, as always, brought his charm to the event. Together, they looked like a family that had grown into their roles, not by chance, but through careful guidance. It was clear that Catherine and William had been teaching them how to be royal without losing their warmth and charm. That balcony moment, full of smiles, waves, and unspoken emotion, showed a royal family stepping into a new phase. It didn't feel like they were holding on to the past. It felt like they were moving forward with something fresh. Catherine stood at the center not because of protocol, but because it felt right. She represented a monarchy that was not just about titles or tradition, but about connection. With her children close, her husband nearby, and the crowds cheering below, she gave the public a picture of hope wrapped in poise. And while the parade would soon wind down and the red arrows would paint the sky, the feeling in that moment lingered. Catherine wasn't just part of history anymore. She was shaping it, and what comes next may just take that quiet strength even further. Keep watching. How will Catherine manage her new role? Catherine's new title as Marshal of the Monarch's Honor is already changing more than just her schedule. Royal experts are saying this role is not just another ceremonial label. It gives her a clear step forward in how the monarchy functions and how it will continue. With this appointment, Catherine is expected to take on a more prominent public ceremonial role, particularly during major national parades, official tributes, and key regimental events. It is not about standing beside someone anymore. It is about leading from the front and carrying out duties that hold symbolic meaning for the entire country. This move comes at a time when the royal family needs that kind of leadership. King Charles is still managing his health, and while he remains present and committed, there is a growing need for trusted family members to take over specific responsibilities. Delegation is no longer a matter of convenience. It is necessary. That is where Catherine fits in. Her appointment is not just about filling a gap. It's about making a difference. It's about choosing the right person to reflect what the crown needs at this moment. Someone stable, graceful, and trusted both within the family and in the eyes of the public. Looking ahead, Catherine's role is likely to stretch beyond British borders. She could soon represent the monarchy at international military ceremonies, diplomatic commemorations, and global state events. Her experience, presence, and calm personality make her well-suited for that. She is someone who not only represents tradition, she connects with people in a way that feels human. That quality matters now more than ever. The monarchy is no longer just about rituals and crowns. It's about staying present in a fast-moving world, and Catherine gives it that presence. However, that is not all. Another thing that gives Catherine an edge is not just her appearance or title. It is the way she connects with people. Her warmth is not forced. Her smile does not seem rehearsed. She has always been composed, but her recent return from cancer treatment has added a new layer to how people see her. They see her strength, but they also know a reflection of themselves in hers. She is relatable without trying too hard. That makes her approachable, even while standing in the most formal of settings. It is that mix of strength and softness that gives her a global appeal no title can create on its own. That sense of connection is also visible in her children. The Wales kids are slowly growing into their public roles, and their appearances feel thoughtful, not pressured. George is already attending major events. He stands beside his parents with a kind of calm that reflects what he is learning. Charlotte, just a year younger, is showing the same type of steady confidence her mother carries. She moves with awareness, holds herself with care, and always seems aware of her surroundings. Then there is Louis, who brings a natural charm. He is playful, expressive, and consistently draws smiles from the crowd. Together, they give a glimpse into what the future of the monarchy might feel like. Thank you for staying with us. So, what do you think about Princess Kate's latest appointment? Share your opinions with us in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, click the following video on your screen, and you will enjoy it.